Okay, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to walk you guys through this strategy. Before I share my screen, though, let me just kind of give you an overview of what I did. So last month, I plan to essentially relaunch my shop. I have a digital shop that I really don't leverage at all. I'm just like, there's stuff in there. If you want it, buy it. If not, I never promote it. I never sell anything in there. I never really talk about it. Occasionally people will buy things from it. Occasionally people will get on sales calls for maybe some of my high ticket offers and maybe they're not qualified or not ready yet. So I do have downsell options, meaning I have workshops or courses that still might help them with what they're trying to accomplish, but they're just not specifically working with me. And so I decided to relaunch the shop because a big goal of mine is to have more passive income. And you can't really have passive income if you're really still involved in so much of the work. So I know that a good way to have passive income in your business is having digital offers. And a lot of you might have things that could be potentially a digital offer that you're just not selling that way or not marketing that way or haven't formatted that way. So I have a lot of workshops that I've done in the past. And if I don't ever host that workshop live again, all that work I did was just a one-time thing when you could essentially resell it again later on. Now, my personal philosophy is I don't sell replays of my things. I actually record a fresh copy so that the person doesn't have to watch me talking to people when they weren't there. I hate watching things like that. So I personally can't sell those, but I know people who do it very successfully. That's just not my jam. So anyway, I thought of all the things that I would want to sell in the shop, and the strategy started from there were already things in my shop. So I had something called the Booked and Banked Bundle. It's an Instagram series of courses that I made back in 2021. And I did sell them originally live, and then I never tried to talk about them again, which is hilarious. I even hosted an accelerator last year. So this is a way to repurpose old offers and find a new way to generate revenue. So I essentially last summer revamped it and said, hey, I'm still selling the Booked and Banked bundle, but I'm going to host it as an accelerator live. So if you buy the courses, you'll get 6 weeks or so with me, and we'll go through the courses together, and I'll help you implement what you're learning. And, you know, thinking about that, people who buy courses don't typically get access to the coach who created them. So I knew that would be a good offer. Thinking about how well that went last year, that offer made around like 20K or so. I was thinking like, damn, how much potential am I missing out on because I don't actually sell these digital offers? So that's why I decided to revamp my shop. I added 2 new things to it, and then a few things that I sold as one-offs, like workshops through Thrivecart. I decided to add all of that to my shop. My shop exists in Shopify. Everything ranged from like $99 to it could be like $1,200, but I had a sale. So everything was 40% off. So that's just giving you the premise of what the sale was about. I came up with this sale at the last minute. And so I didn't have a lot of time to actually promote the sale. And this is typically how my brain works. I'll have an idea and then I'll randomly try to sell it. And then I'll see what I can do with it in the time that I have. This is also a fun thing with the challenge. So for those of you who are not in the membership, I just was like, hey, let's have a 10K in 10 days challenge. And I told them, and I'm like, and let's pop up and do this. And I wanted to do this recording to show them that you can pop up and do something and make significant revenue if you just tried. I think a lot of times we're really working hard to understand marketing, but we forget to learn that selling is an important part of marketing, and marketing is useless without you actually selling, because marketing's job is just lead generation. Your marketing isn't supposed to be selling for you. You're supposed to be selling. You have to sell. Marketing is really just a way to get visibility and to generate leads for your business. And so my membership is primarily about marketing. And so I wanted to make sure that my people who are probably very comfortable marketing are also remembering to sell. So that's just the quick overview of what this challenge is, and then also what I did last month, or why I wanted to do what I did last month, which again was just a 5-day sale. And so let me show you guys behind the scenes of all that stuff. I'm going to go in order between, so the 2 marketing channels that I chose to use was simply Instagram and email. That's it. So what you're going to see is just me leveraging those 2 channels. I believe this could have worked on whatever social channel you're actually active on. I needed 1 active channel and then 1 nurturing channel. Email is a very good nurturing channel, and social media is excellent for active marketing or engaging with your audience and also getting quick feedback. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I have a lot open because I wanted to make sure I showed you guys everything. So one of the first things that I know that I did, and I'm not going to show you all of those emails, I want to show you the most important emails, which is the ones where I made revenue. The first thing that I did was start to nurture my entire email list to kind of say, like, this sale is coming, and also telling them kind of what I'm doing with the shop, like what's coming to the shop, telling them about my new dashboard, my new offers. They weren't available yet. And I did the same thing on social media. This is called pre-launching. You should always pre-launch, regardless of how much your stuff costs or how far in advance you plan to launch or market. You should always do something called pre-launching, which is really just getting people's interest really early on before the thing becomes open for sale, because this is usually going to be your first group of people who purchase, is the people who already knew it was coming. So it's kind of like, how I like to think about pre-launching is how I think about movies coming out. A movie doesn't just pop up in the theater. They have previews that come out in the movie theater like a whole year in advance. And you're like, when does this come out? And it's like December 2024. And it pisses me off because I'm like excited to see the movie and it doesn't come out. And then leading up to that movie actually premiering, they show you more and more previews, longer and longer previews over time. That's how we should be treating business. You can't just pop up with your movie premiere. You got to let people know the movie's coming out so that people show up to the premiere. So the first thing I did was post these pinned posts to my the top of my Instagram. They look like this. And I did this on the 10th. My sale was from the 12th through the 16th, I believe, or 17th, something like that. It was just for a few days. And I announced it on a Saturday, which is very risky, but I can tell you right now, it definitely still worked. But I did these as pinned posts. So, you know, on Instagram, you can have things that stay at the top. They could look like a billboard if you did it right. So I chose, and I talked about this with my coach. We talk all the time, and I was like talking about this sale and how it popped up, and she was like, "Oh, you should do some pin posts." And I said, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna make it look like a billboard." So that's exactly what I chose to do, and it did look like one. And I'll be able to show you guys my account just briefly, because I think it still looks like a billboard right now, because I think they're all together now. They're not together anymore, but I currently have one up now for my membership because that's what I'm currently promoting. Every time I do something, or everything that I'm highlighting as far as selling from now on will stay at the top. That's going to be my strategy going forward with Instagram, is to leverage this top part as a billboard. Putting y'all on game. I highly recommend this. I feel like, because you know when you're launching, you're going to do a lot of things that give you visibility, which means people who may not even know you because maybe they're watching your reels or your short form content, they're probably coming to your Instagram account. You want, when they come there, that this is what they see first, because they probably don't know you. I can tell you right now that I'm glad that I had this up, because a lot of my reels were getting really great visibility. And a lot of the people who bought my products, I didn't know. I typically know customers. Like, I'll know your Instagram name. All of y'all, as y'all pop in here, even though your name is in your Instagram handle, I kind of know you by your Instagram handle. So automatically I know when people are buying stuff, but I was like, man, some of these names I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so the start of my strategy was to have this essential billboard on top of my Instagram and to just send a few pre-launch emails. I wasn't selling anything, which means people were probably willing to open them. And so that was good for business. Then the very first thing that I posted to kick off the sale, which would have been on the 12th, a Saturday, was first post a reel. Reels are good for visibility. I taught a long time ago something called the winning Instagram quadfecta. And I also talked to people about the marketing ecosystem. And in the marketing ecosystem, one of the first things you should always do before you do any other marketing or selling is visibility. Visibility is always number one, because you need eyes. Even if you were doing ads, you need visibility ads. Go ahead and mute. But you always need to start, if you're marketing on any marketing channel, you need to always start with getting the eyes first. Doing a lead magnet for your paid offer is getting visibility first. So anyway, I started off with a reel. This reel went exceptionally well. I don't care about these 88 likes or anything like that. It had decent views, but my call to action was just comment CMO and I'll send you the link to snag it. And if you look at this, CMO, 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 CMO. I had so many comments of people who did this. Strategy wise, I leveraged Manychat. So the reason I asked them to comment that keyword is because I had an automation inside something called Manychat. It's just a DM or it's just like an automation that will respond to people on your behalf. And it's going to be really hard for me to just say, click the link in my bio, because people don't really click the link in your bio like that. So I wanted to do something where they got some engagement, but also I could go back and follow up with these people. These people are now warm leads who are interested. They may not have all purchased it, but I know they're interested. So anyway, I want to show you guys the back end of Manychat. If you haven't heard of Manychat, I also am very new to Manychat. I was using something else before, but essentially they're all the same, like the same functionality. The point of using these things is so that you can have automatic interactions with people on social media, specifically Instagram and Facebook, without you having to engage with people. So they can send you keywords. They can send the keywords in many ways: story replies, live replies, comments, or DMs. So I chose different ways. So you'll see here, let's see here, CMO dashboard. 52 people DM'd me the word CMO or replied to my story. And you'll see the triggers are story reply, post or real comment, or they messaged me just CMO. My thing would automatically send that to them. 72% of them who asked for it actually clicked through, which is excellent. So strategy wise, that's the reason why I chose to have Manychat, because I knew that this would be good for me to track leads later on, but also to give them the link in a way that basically kind of forces them to pay attention. If I just say, click the link in my bio, if they get away from my post, they're never going to see the fact that I gave them that call to action. But if I DM them, that DM message is at least going to pop in their inbox, and they're going to at least get an alert that says you have a DM. And if they don't check it right away, they're going to get a reminder to check that DM. So that's kind of like some insurance policy that they're going to see my message. That's why I would want to do something that forces engagement rather than just go to the link in my bio. So I posted this reel, and the philosophy behind this reel, I want to also kind of explain why I did certain posts the way I did them. I was trying to introduce the story of why someone would want to get this dashboard. And I talked about, from my perspective, of how many different ways or different places I put notes in marketing things, and why I made the dashboard was to give you one centralized location for all of your marketing stuff. So this was just excellent storytelling. Storytelling sells, and this is low ticket. So storytelling gets it done quickly without me really doing anything. Then I sent an email. The email, my very first email in my series, was just announcing that the sale is now live. You can see that this one email made $1,300 of my $6,000. $1,300 of it came from this one email. Isn't that dope? The reason I switched, I also at this time switched my email system from ActiveCampaign to Klaviyo, specifically because Klaviyo works well and works innately with Shopify, and I want to do everything through my Shopify account. Business-wise, why I would choose Shopify is because for my customers, it actually gives you guys as customers access to something like Shop Pay, which gives you extended payment plans. And I do not want to take the onus of paying for payment plans. So back in the day, if I would offer you a payment plan for my group coaching program, you would just be paying me monthly payments. I'm not getting any interest really or anything. And if you decide to stop paying, I don't get paid. But if I did it through Shopify, not only do you get an extended payment plan up to like 12 months from them, but I don't have to take the responsibility of possibly not getting paid if you stop paying, because they give me the money up front, and then they are responsible for collecting your payment plan payments, which is really smart for a small business because we're not banks. So anyway, I have moved all of my products over to Shopify from Thrivecart. And so having Klaviyo instead of ActiveCampaign gives me access to better data. So now I can see I made $83 for every person that was on this list. That's pretty dope. And in the email itself, and by the way, members of the membership, I'm going to give you guys these emails. I'm already downloading I downloaded the PDFs of all these. I can't give you the web link because for some reason it's not working on Klaviyo. They don't have a button for that. So I downloaded a PDF of all these, as well as have given you guys access to all of the links of all these social posts so you can go and look at them and get ideas for yourself. But anyway, the email was really simple. It just had a nice cover, a nice header image with a call to action really early for people who don't need to hear. So you should do this, by the way, strategy wise, in an email where you're selling something. Some of your people already know that they want to buy from you. So you don't want those people to have to be bored with your long ass email with the call to action at the bottom. So you want to have a call to action right away at the top. And then for the people who need time to make decisions, then you talk to them. But I had a call to action right at the top. The sale is happening. Here's the discount. Discounts are taken at checkout, so they don't ask me any questions. Here's the button. But then I went into what I'm doing, what's for sale, and introduced my main thing was my brand new dashboard. It's also the thing that didn't have a brand. All my other stuff kind of had some brand awareness because I've sold them before, but this was brand new. So the thing I kept highlighting is what didn't have brand awareness, which was really important. So I highlighted this specifically on my shop. At the top of my shop, you can change the buttons. I'll show you that really quickly. So you, again, understand strategy wise. You can do this on your regular website if you don't have a shop, and I'm going to explain that. On my shop, though, I changed my button to say new CMO dashboard. I highlighted my brand new thing that again doesn't, and then this other button said shop the 5-day sale. At the top, you can also have stuff. This also says shop the 5-day sale. I made collections in my Shopify that just had only the things that were a part of the 5-day sale, which were just my courses and workshops and the new products. I put all of those things in a collection so people could see it quickly. I also put my new Notion resources, which was a big part of this new launch, into a collection so people could easily go to those specific things. I also changed out my highlighted product. This used to be either Revolutionary Brand or my Booked and Banked bundle. I changed my highlighted product to specifically be that new dashboard. And then I changed my featured products to be the things that were a part of the sale, which again was not down here. They were like Instagram courses. Strategy wise, this is how you make sure that people who came just for the sale, who are not used to your shop, get to see what they wanted to see right away. And this header didn't have Notion on it, but now it does. The header before was just like nothingness. It just was like a color background and it just said, welcome to my shop, like something boring, but I changed it. If you were selling like services or doing something like that, you could easily on your homepage of your website have a banner at the top that says, 5 spots left for my coaching program, or the mastermind is open, or whatever. And you can have that highlighted as well. So it works just as well for products as it does for a service provider or service business. Okay, so I sent the first email that just announced that this, the shop was happening, or the sale was happening. And you can see the stats were excellent. The 36% open rate, 1.8% of the people actually ordered a product, or 11 people, at a 7.9% click rate. Just for frame of reference, 20% is very average for an open rate. So anything above 20% is excellent, 25%. And click-through rate, a 1 to 3% rate is excellent. Anything above that is like stupendous. So I did a phenomenal job of getting opens, and it likely had to do with the subject line. I said, I'm having the sale starts now. Simple things. My subject line just said the CMO dashboard is officially live. That wouldn't have been a good email to get opens. Make sure you mute your phone or mute your computer. This subject line wouldn't have been relevant if I didn't already start to pre-launch and introduce the CMO dashboard as a brand name. Who is not on mute? Let me see. Who is that? Aisha. Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, if I didn't already introduce the phrase or the brand name CMO dashboard, sending an email with the subject line, the dashboard is live, wouldn't have made people want to open the email. This email open rate was only high because I did the pre-launch. Okay. So then the next thing that I did was I posted this carousel. This is on the 13th. So on the 12th, the day I premiered, I only posted 1 reel and sent 1 email, and that was it. And I did do stories. I don't have time to show y'all stories, but I did do stories. But just know that primarily, I think it had a lot to do with the reel because you guys could see the response. I then posted this carousel, which just kind of told the story of how much I procrastinate, and really just storytelling for how that 12-week year and the dashboard and all that stuff that I have is going to be relevant. So I basically highlighted a different product. I highlighted the 12-week year planner because I knew that this was going to also be something that sold well if people knew what it was, because I actually already have been giving this to clients for a year at this point. So I kind of just told this story about myself and procrastination, but I also knew that I had social proof because my clients had already been using this. So I knew that this carousel would be a good way to showcase social proof of people already using the philosophy behind this planner, and you can get it too. So then I just said, just put planner in the DMs. 3 people said it, and you know, people obviously bought, but I did post that. You can see the keywords. Again, I use Manychat for these responses. So as they sent this keyword, they got a DM with the link to get the planner specifically. Day 2 was still the 13th. So I also sent one email that day, and the email was just for the procrastinators, goal setters, and accountability partner seekers. It's just promoting that same exact one. So whatever I talked about on social was the same thing I talked about on an email. This cuts down on content creation time. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you decided to post something on social media, it should have been good enough for you to also talk about in your email. So I just sent an email. This email made $23. That means one person bought from this email, because with the 40% sale, that thing was $23. So I know that this definitely came from this email, and one person bought it. So 31% of the people opened it. 2.6% clicked. So these are still great rates, because I told you 20% is the standard open rate, 1 to 3% is good open click rates. And then I had a person purchase from it. So that's great for something brand new. The email itself was just very simple. It just kind of told the same story that I told in that carousel. And then someone asked me, between the CMO dashboard and the 12-week planner, which I think is a common question that would stop someone from purchasing one or the other. So I decided to use this as a way to say, hey, if you're trying to decide between these 2 things, here's what I would suggest. I gave some social proof, and then I gave them the link to buy the planner. And I also shared how many people have already been shopping the sale, because at that point I had already made $1,400 from the sale. So people had saved $1,400 on my products by shopping the sale. And then at that point, 14 people had purchased things. So I said that in the bottom of the email. That's a sales strategy. It makes sense for business. Okay. Let's see here. On the 14th, so this would be day 3 of the sale, I did another reel. Great visibility, middle of the week. It's very simple. I'm not talking. It's literally just a funny, trendy thing that's happening on TikTok. So I leveraged this little guy, and I just showed the dashboard. So all you got to see was just what's happening in the dashboard. And I said, comment CMO to get yours. Look at this. I had, let's see here. Somebody said sold, which is funny. CMO, 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 CMO. I had so many people who commented CMO. You know that went to Manychat. Manychat DM'd all these people, gave them the link. This was one of my most popular little reels at the time. I'm actually leveraging this for ads right now, because now I can do ads, because I have enough data from this launch to say how I want to automate this process or do evergreen in the future. But I'll talk about that on a separate occasion. Okay, so that was the 14th. I also on the 14th sent an email, and this time I wanted to go live to show people me using the dashboard. So I said, I'm going live to show you how I'm using the CMO dashboard. Join me on Instagram or YouTube. And I sent this email. This email had a 32% open rate, 2.4% click rate. People bought things, because with the sale, the dashboard was $99. So 2 people bought things, which meant that they spent a little bit more than $99. And their average order value was $73, which was pretty cool. The email was very simple. It's just, hey, come to this live. Here's when the live is going to happen, and this is what I'm covering. And then I also put social proof. Somebody already bought the dashboard and loved it. So of course I screenshot, CMO dashboard is fire. Buy the dashboard. That's why 2 people bought it. They were like, damn, this is fire. I need to get it. So simple call to action. But really, I just wanted them to come and watch me go over it live. But the fact that 2 people bought it because I had social proof tells you that marketing really does work. Okay. Later on that day, I realized that YouTube wasn't working for me. So I had to quickly send an email with an updated link to view the live. And I added Zoom as one of the options of places to see it. So that's why this email was sent. But what's funny is that people bought the dashboard just from me sending another email the same day. 62% of people opened this email. 4% of them clicked on it. And 3 people purchased because of this email, where all I was trying to do was give them the link. But I did copy the exact same email, which meant that social proof was still in this email. And people were like, oh, shit, let me go buy it. So now from one email that I wrote once, 5 people purchased this dashboard simply because I had that social proof. Because the point of the email wasn't even about buy the dashboard. It was come and watch me use the dashboard so you can see if you might want it. I obviously went live as well. So that same day I posted the replay of live to my YouTube because it was way too long for Instagram. But on Instagram, I made a post that was just like, come and watch the dashboard live replay. All they had to do was DM me the word replay or whatever, and they could get it. And I hope I posted that one. I didn't post that one. But essentially I made a very simple post on Instagram, and it was just like, and I can find it easily. I said, here is I told them I couldn't go live on YouTube, but if you want to watch the tour, comment tour. Look at all these people that commented tour. So in Manychat, I had the keyword tour, and they got a link to my YouTube to watch the replay. I know I've gotten a sale from YouTube because Shopify tracks that I got a sale based on YouTube. So I also know that posting that replay to YouTube has also gotten me a sale from YouTube, which means, again, marketing works when you actually put your marketing stuff somewhere. This is a long ass video replay, by the way. And the fact that someone bought because they watched this video makes me so happy. Okay. So then that same day, the 14th, they've now gotten 3 emails from me on the 14th. I just sent the replay of the tour, and 3 more people purchased. So from this one email idea, I sent 3 separate emails, and 6 people purchased that same day, all because of this email. So this was awesome. The next day, the 15th, so this is the day, the second to last day before the sale, I went live, and this time I went live with Tamasha. Now, if you don't know Tamasha is a leadership coach. She's also my coach. So people in my audience actually knows who Tamasha is. Most of them have worked with her or are aiming to work with her. So going live or partnering with someone is also a really good idea when you're having a sale or when you're trying to sell something, because if you guys share the same audience, then you're also going to basically get access to their audience along with yours. And so it was really fun for me to go live. And she also knows my business. So she knew what I was selling. She knew why I was selling. And she also has access to the things. So she knew things about it. So going live with someone was really helpful. And she was gracious enough to do a giveaway for the people who purchased that day. So I said, if you purchase anything from the shop on this day, you'll go into a running ticket. You'll get a session with her. They knew, the people who were on the live knew what was happening. So people went and purchased. That same day, I sent, let me see here. I sent an email to my email list. And the subject line this time was, Tamasha and I went live to talk implementation and simplification. And she and I had to talk about what the topic would be. So we did actually talk about something that would be helpful for my audience, but hopefully people also realized that the things that I created in the shop would help them with those things we were teaching. And so they could essentially buy it. So anyways, I essentially sent an email with the replay and also said, by the way, she's hosting a surprise giveaway. And I did the little eyeball so that people knew you should go check this out. This was my second highest day from an email. 45% of the people opened it. This would only be relevant if people knew who she was. So you would want to partner with someone that your audience knows and respects, or at least your 2 audiences know you guys, because it wouldn't be relevant to them. And $1,200. So 7 people purchased something because of that. All of those people who had purchased up through that point also were included in this running for the session. So this was a very successful email. And again, the strategy behind it was partner with someone who you share an audience with, because then you get more visibility. If you notice, every few days I did something visibility wise, whether it was a reel or in this case, going live. You see, I did that basically every other day. This was very helpful during this campaign. Visibility is key. I also, on the 16th, so this is the final day of the sale, I did another reel. And this was a real life situation that I know happens for other people. I got a content idea on the go. I made the CMO dashboard to help with you having content ideas on the go. And so I showed myself, I knew that I needed to record all this. So I literally got out my car and put my phone down on the ground and then backed my car up and then drove it like I was pulling up at the school and the camera happened to be there. I had to plan out this content. I had to put my phone on a holder while I was driving and do a time lapse video of me driving. I knew that I was getting out the car, my phone phone's on the floor, on the ground, and I pretend to walk to go get my kid. Then I have to go pick up my phone. And then I waited for my kid and I was recording. I had to edit this stuff out until he came up to me. I had to record all this stuff, but this was very intentional because the point of this was showcase you using the product in an everyday situation, which will help people see that they could use it too. Same thing to get the dashboard, comment CMO, 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 CMO. Like, look how many people replied. These things are working. And one of the fun things about leveraging something like a Manychat or asking for people to send you keywords rather than just go to the link in my bio is because you get results, but you also can track leads without having to have an email list. Because some of you don't have email lists and you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to track leads? If you do things and ask people for keywords, you're going to have leads to track. I use this in my high ticket business as well. Back in the day when I was trying to get people in my group coaching program, I would say, DM me the word I'm interested, and I'll talk with you about pre-qualifying for Revolutionary Brand. And I did it every single launch, and every single launch, I basically sold from the DMs or got people on sales calls, not because I said fill out my application, because I honestly never really got applications. People would DM me and want to have a conversation with me. And then if they were interested, they would fill out the application, but no one ever really filled out my application just from me saying, click the link in my bio to fill out my application. And I'm sharing that with you guys because a lot of times you're not making sales because your only call to action is click the link in my bio. And I know that that's really one of the only ways you can give a link besides your stories, but that is not the only way to get a lead or to have a sales conversation. And so if you're so inclined, I encourage you to actually get people to comment or to DM you. And before I had Manychat, because that wasn't out back then, I wouldn't say comment, I would say DM me these words. And I would send that in my email as a call to action too. I would say, hey, say I'm interested in my DMs and we can talk back and forth. I didn't like people replying to my emails, but I would have a conversation back and forth via voice note on Instagram if people would just DM me. And that's how I had all of my sales for my business for years. So I'm just sharing that with you because I don't want you guys to get discouraged, like, oh, well, you have a shop or you know, they're saying, like, it doesn't matter. I sold the exact same way when I was selling my high ticket stuff, and it still works. And so you could do the same thing. You can have them comment, you know, application, and then it will send them the link to the application. But saying link in the bio, I can tell you right now, is like the laziest sales strategy. And I don't think you should be lazy with your sales. Okay. I also sent an email because this is the last day. I decided on these days to highlight a different product. And I was highlighting this particular product because I plan to go live with the people who bought it. And I talked about that. Hey, if you buy $1 Million Lead Magnet, I'm going to host you guys live in a session. And I told them how that was going to work. All you have to do is watch the session before the live day, and we'll do the workshop part together. I actually hosted this as a live workshop before originally. So I had social proof and everything. So anyways, I sent one email on the last day of the sale to highlight one of the products. The email was very simple. It was just talking about how this is, you know, launch season, and y'all think y'all should be growing these email lists just to get leads, but you should be growing your email list to make sales. And I talked about how I did a lead magnet that made me over 70K in revenue. So I had social proof, and I also had social proof because this workshop was live in the past. So I shared, people bought it and they friggin' loved this workshop. You'll love it too. So then the call to action was buy this workshop, get the workshop. From that email, you can see one person bought the workshop on that particular day. So that's great. 26% open rate. So a lower open rate, however, still above the average of 20%, low click rate, but still above the average of 1%. And that's fantastic. And we're almost done here. And then I'll see if you guys have any questions. The 16th was still the last day of the sale, and I'm also still highlighting the $1 Million Lead Magnet workshop. So this carousel is just about how I had two different workshops make a lot of money. One made 70,000, one made 42. So I highlighted the one that made 42. And so I just had a carousel all about that. At the end of the carousel though, and I started introducing my lead magnet workshop, and they could get the workshop. Anyway, lead magnet, lead magnet, lead magnet. That was the key word for people to DM or to comment, and they could get access. And at the end, I said, this year, I'm not teaching it live, but to anyone who purchases it, I will be hosting you guys live on this date with, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I posted that, and that was the premise of that email, that post. Lastly, I sent another email that same day about something that I talked about in another carousel, which was this one here. This one didn't perform so well via email. No one purchased, but 31% of the people opened it. So whatever I was talking about was interesting, but not interesting enough that they cared to purchase. And let's see if I had any keywords on this one. I said, this is the last day of the sale, missed the sale. I'm still a DM away. So anyways, I like that people at least talked in there, but it didn't really do anything for the sale. And I sent one last email that just says day 5 of the 5. So there's less than an hour left for people to save. I sent one last email. It didn't do anything. But at that point, I had already hit my sales goal. But the least you can do is send one last one. Those were the things that I sent and did the entire time in this particular launch. What questions, if any, are coming up for you guys? I'm curious. So I just showed you the back end of all of the things that I did. It was a very simple launch. I made $6K. Oh, so most of the revenue, you can see a good portion of it obviously came, about 50% of the revenue came from me sending emails, and the other 50% clearly came from me talking on social media. So it was worth it for me to have that simplified multi-channel marketing strategy. But are any questions coming up for you guys? And you can unmute, by the way, to ask. But I'm curious if you guys have any questions about any of what I shared.
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So even though you have an established brand, if I'm, as you know, for me, I'm relaunching myself back out there. Would it still work if I'm still trying to do that? Even if I have one offer to launch, if I'm jumping back out there on the social media side. I'm sorry, my voice is almost.
It's okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think that it might feel intimidating to try to do like this 10K in 10 days challenge, or to try to have a quick sale or something like that. But absolutely, because when I talk to you guys about my old stuff, like that 42K from a challenge, that was a challenge that I did at the very beginning of my business in 2020. I did something called the 5-day Instagram branding makeover challenge. And how I did that challenge is I created a pop-up, I had a Facebook community. It didn't have that many people, maybe it had like 100 people. In that community, that's where I directed everyone to. So I said, join my challenge by joining this Facebook community. And I told them the dates of the challenge. And you had to sign up because I was going to send you your homework via email only. So I needed people to sign up. So I had about 150 people from my Instagram only. I was sending some emails, but I didn't really have a big email list. But from Instagram and me promoting my 5-day branding makeover challenge, and I probably promoted it for like 2 weeks. I never really promoted those things very long, 3 weeks max, but I don't even think I promoted it that long. 150 people signed up for that Instagram branding makeover challenge, which means my membership went up from like 100 to like 250, almost 300 people, which was exciting because now I could nurture them even if they didn't do anything after. I did that challenge because I was about to open up my mastermind, which was my very first group coaching program. Up until that point, I was only selling one-on-one coaching, and I had just started coaching that year. So I'm telling you this, Kenyatta, so that you see that I did not have this established marketing or coaching business. I had been a designer primarily leading up to that point. This is 2020. March, I started offering coaching, didn't really sell it really well until I got my first client. And then I started selling 3-month packages, and I can only take about 3 to 6 clients a quarter. So I was kind of booking that out. And then by September, I wanted to have my mastermind, which meant I had to start launching before. This 5-day challenge happened in August. Also, leading up to August, I had one speaking engagement, my very first virtual speaking engagement, because this is peak COVID, so we weren't going anywhere. I was in my first speaking engagement in a virtual summit. That all happened at the same time. And I'm saying this to you specifically because you have a lot of speaking engagements right now. So this is the perfect brand building time. So this was like, people saw me, they were starting to watch my content. So that's probably why I got so many people to sign up for the challenge. I knew that I was teaching a strategy for marketing on Instagram. It's why I chose the 5-day Instagram branding makeover challenge, because if I could get my people to do better branding on Instagram, when I taught them how to do the launching on Instagram, I knew that their Instagram accounts would be ready. So it was like a prerequisite to what I was going to sell in my paid offer, which is how I still to this day teach people to make lead magnets. Do something as a prerequisite to your paid offer, so that people will be better prepared and better perform in your paid offer if they did that. Anyway, I had that challenge. By day 3 of the 5-day challenge is the first time I introduced via email that I want you to join the mastermind after this. And then I sold the next 2 days, and then they got some incentive for joining. But from that one 5-day challenge, I think that's the one that made $70,000, because over the course of a year from that point of me hosting that challenge, people joined a lot of my premium offers. And when I tracked them back to where they came from, it was from a free 5-day challenge. So hopefully that's inspiring enough. And I wasn't selling, I was brand new still. The mastermind was brand new, and I didn't even host it anymore. I hosted like one other time, but it was a long time after. I really hated the mastermind. I actually made Revolutionary Brand after that, which I liked significantly more. But yeah, I sold out. I only wanted 6 people. That was my first 5-figure launch. Because that program was $6,000 and I got 6 people. So I contracted $36,000, and one of them paid in full. It was the first time I ever got a pay in full client. So it was like a really successful launch based on me starting it from a 5-day free challenge. And yeah, I loved it. And in the membership, because you're in the membership, I give all the emails that I sent. That was a live event. So if you go to October session from last year, you'll have to go back to like the workshop. I give the emails that I sent in that challenge because it was a live event. So I gave like live event email sequences.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then Wadia says, what if you haven't posted on IG in a while, but pretty active on stories? Just create the leads and post them to the feed. So same thing, I also primarily want to post to my stories. I make those reels so I can post the reel to my stories, because I don't even look at anybody's feed, but it has to start somewhere. So I don't want everything to just live in my story, so that people could eventually go find it. So I would still create with the intention of probably primarily talking about it on your stories, but put it on your feed so that other people can find it as well. Because really the only people who see your stories are your followers. So if you don't have a very active Instagram and all you do is post to your stories, you're really not getting any benefit. You're not getting any benefit at all. So you really need that stuff to go on your feed if you don't have a very engaged following or you're not very active on Instagram. Also, it doesn't have to be Instagram. I'm just showing you guys because that's my primary social media channel. It's whatever social media channel you're most active on. I would do the same strategy, but on the channel that I actually use. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions coming up for you guys? And Tanya, don't worry, I'm going to post the replay.
Okay. Well, I have a question anyway. Are we looking for 10,000 cash collected, like in this 10-day period? Or are we looking for 10?
No, not everybody gets cash collected. Yeah, not everybody gets cash collected. So no, it's just generate. And I think I made sure I said revenue, not necessarily profit or cash collected or anything. You're welcome, Wadia. Because yeah, some of us, especially if you have services, like if I'm a designer, they're not going to pay me all the way up front for my website that I've not even started. So I'm going to get a deposit, but that contract is that could be a $5K project. So I just want you guys to book $10K in revenue for your business over this period. So it was funny that I got a sale yesterday. So I'm like, because it was last.
No, I got my first one came this morning. So I'm on.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna cheat and be like, mine came last night, but this for the program. This for the challenge. Any other questions? I'll let you guys go if y'all don't have any other questions. I just wanted to show you guys. I'll post the replay. I'll send an email with the link to watch it on YouTube, but I just wanted to, I thought it would be fun. I think it's really hard to visualize doing sales quickly unless you see like what exactly did you send. So in the membership, you guys already had links to all of the social posts. I downloaded PDFs of all the emails as well. It was 9 emails. So I'm going to make sure you guys have all those because I think it's fun to look through, and I'll put it in something where you guys can see the order in which I sent everything out. Like I showed it in this video, but I show it in order here. So when the replay comes out, you'll be able to see the exact order that I sent everything in. And if you watch the replay, I explain why I did everything that I did. You're welcome, y'all. Okay, I appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.